So I wake up one morning and I start doing some self-reflecting. Am I living life or just cruising through life? What can I do to start making changes? And then my brain kind of reminded me about my tragic insecurity. I was really insecure about my height. Some interesting research suggests that nearly 85% of Americans suffer with insecurities. What would you say if I told you that my main tragic flaw of being short is what saved me and why I'm here today? My name is Mike Wolo, and I'm a survivor of a horrific accident. My face and head were crushed to under 3 inches wide by 10,000 pounds of granite stone slabs. I was given only a 2% chance of survival. This is not a story of tragedy, but a story of triumph. Back in the fall of 2003, I got a phone call from my childhood friend's brother. Here and there, he had asked me to help out with shipments of granite stone that he'd get in from overseas. Hated doing it. I told him before that it would be the last time I would do it. Each stone weighed about 1,000 to 1,200 pounds and extremely dangerous. I caved in and said yes. All the floors were buckling. We knew this wasn't safe. I hear David screaming. I look up and I realize the bundle of stone is falling right at me. I remember nothing at that point. So I was med-flighted to a level 1 trauma center in Boston. I'm in a coma. The doctors only gave me a 2% chance of living. And it suggested at that time, at least have my brothers go in there and say their goodbyes. Well, what do you know, at that very moment, I wake up. Mike, squeeze my hand once for yes, 2 for no, if you understand what I'm saying. I remember the entire room filled up. There's some celebration, and I'm confused. I don't know what's going on, except for I'm in the hospital and I'm in an accident, but I don't know how bad it really was. Long road of recovering from there. My family's in there visiting, and they all stepped out, and they're in the hallway talking to one of the surgeons, and they started asking, well, can Mike do everything he used to do? Mike was really active. You know, Mike skied and snowmobiled and hiked. And at that point, the doctor said no. A lot of things that Mike used to do, he's not gonna be able to ever do again. I can overhear this. I can't even explain to you what's going through my mind. And meanwhile, I start looking in the mirror. I don't recognize the face that's looking back at me. I took it in for a solid minute or so and said to myself, well, life's over. What woman's gonna want to go near me? Children are gonna run away from me. And I started to weep. That very moment I decided I am getting out of this hospital. So I am doing everything I can, starting now, to get myself out of here. Getting to my second week there, all my surgery was complete, and I've healed so well, and I thought, this is wonderful. This was my goal, my first milestone to prove the doctors wrong. I wasn't gonna be in that place for 6 months. I get to the rehab hospital, and by my 15th day, I was released, sent back home. So 32 days later, post-accident, I am back home, and to me, that was the biggest, most unbelievable feeling. What I didn't realize is my long journey now of not just the physical battle, but now the mental battle. I had to relearn just simple thought process. I had to relearn how to smile again. I had to learn many things of just being a social person again, without feeling all eyes on me, looking at the freak. That took some time. Slowly I started coming back into my own, started doing lots of walking and hiking again. I get the opportunity to go up to Maine, check off snowmobiling. Another one for the list. Surely camping came along, and then riding motorcycles and ATVs again. All these things that the doctor said I could not do. 8 years post-accident, I'm my new me. I've accepted my new face. I've gotten over agoraphobia and anxiety and depression. The way I did it is I took a new job. It required me to travel 1,500 to 2,000 miles each week and creating metal protection walls inside my brain. Started doing physical activity and started jogging and working out. And I run into one of my friends and he says, hey, you look great. Why don't you come work out with the semi-pro football team that just moved into town? Work out with them, you'll get in wonderful shape. At this point, I'm 40 years old. By the 4th week, one of the coaches comes over to me and says, okay, enough of this. Go get some pads. Our first game's Saturday, you're dressing for this game. I thought he was insane. I got 110 titanium screws and 20 plates holding my face together. You can help me mentor these kids. You could be the backup to the backup to the backup. I said, you know, Coach, you're right. that is the right thing to do. 2 hours before that first game, coach calls me over and asks me, "You think you can help out on the defensive line today?" I haven't had any type of physical activity in 22 years now. This was the real deal. I get on the field and I do a kickoff, and I notice a tremendous difference between high school and semi-pro football. Somebody hits me in the shoulder and I go flying 20 feet. I roll up on my feet and I get back in and I help out in that tackle, and I thought, wow, that was exhilarating. That was amazing. Next thing you know it, I call huddle. Lined up against the football, offensive tackle looks at me and he's wondering, what are you doing here? Are you the water boy? He's 6 foot 2 inches tall. He's 360 pounds. The ball gets hiked, and wouldn't you know it, I ran right by him, and I go chasing the quarterback out of the pocket. This goes on for 3 or 4 straight series. And then they bring in another player who's talking smack, calling me Tiny, saying, "You ain't getting by me, Tiny." Tiny got by him. We're in the locker room, and the coach yells out, "Where's my little guy?" I'm like, "I'm right over here, coach." And he's like, "Congrats, Wolo. That position's yours." And I end up playing 2 full seasons and retired on my 43rd birthday. So just imagine one day you're self-reflecting about your life and wondering, are you living it or not? To the next day getting your head crushed by 10,000 pounds of granite. To another day meeting the surgeon that reconstructed you to find out that you were actually the perfect height, and that the thing that you were most insecure about your entire life, being short, is what actually saved your life, because if you were any taller, you were decapitated, and any shorter, your brains are going to be demolished. You can overcome your own insecurities. You might only have a 2% chance, but you take that chance and live life to its fullest.